Hey, this is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and today I'm going to show you what happens when you accidentally install the Creality K2 Plus firmware and you didn't want to, and then how you roll it back. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this was a pretty frustrating issue for me because last night I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the green button. So I pressed it and then it downloaded and installed the new firmware. Now, this is a problem for me because I was trying to record a video. I wanted my K2 Plus because I needed the enclosed chamber. And once I installed the firmware, I had nothing but errors and couldn't print anything. So it took me a while to figure out, without using Creality Print, which I don't use, how to roll back the firmware. So what I'm going to do is let this install. I'll show you how to download and roll back to the previous firmware. So hopefully you find that helpful. So let me pause and we'll be back in a little bit. So as you can see, I've successfully installed the latest firmware on my K2 Plus. I'm not going to bother trying to test this to see if it works correctly, because honestly at this point, it was too frustrating yesterday trying to get this fixed. And I really just need to finish what I was trying to record yesterday, and I want to be able to start printing something. So with that being said, let me show you the steps you need to take without Creality Print to roll it back. And this is a slight bit confusing, but again, not a big deal if you know what to look for. So I'm going to start off on the Creality website, and let me scroll down to categories, and there's the K2 Plus. So I'm going to click on it, and this will take me to the firmware. Now, where this gets screwy is if you look, this is not the previous firmware. This is actually, I think, a version or two, probably two versions behind the current. The last version was 1.1.3, I believe. I discovered find the last version of the firmware instead of what they're showing here. You just click the plus sign. Well, there you go. There's newer firmware under the old versions. So let's click download, and I'm going to simply download that firmware. That'll take a minute. It's an image file. So I'm doing this on a Mac, but it's the same as on Windows. I'm in my downloads folder. Down here at the bottom, I can see the image file. Now I have a USB inserted in the machine. In my case, I'm going to use the disk utility. So let's open that up, and I'm just going to right click on the drive and hit erase. I want to make sure this is formatted as exFAT. So you want to definitely make sure that's the case on your Windows machine, and it should be a name with FAT in it. And that's a type of format that's pretty ubiquitous. So I'm just going to hit erase. And that's taken a second. Operation successful. I'm going to hit done. So now I have a clear USB, and I'm just going to go over to my downloads, grab the image file, and dump it over to the USB. This is Mike from Minimal 3DP, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for supporting the channel, and also let you know that if you're interested, I've recently launched a Patreon page. On Patreon, I have two membership options, which for just $5 a month, that really helps me out and generates some additional income that I use to plow directly back into the channel. Part of the benefits of supporting me via Patreon, I've taken a lot of the tools I've developed over the years. You can still use all the tools, the calculators, and I'll continue to add functionality. But what I've done is, like in the case of the Orca Slicer settings, you now have the ability to export out these new settings that it's generated for you as an Orca Slicer profile. Over on the cost calculator, you now have the ability, you can save your invoices so you can go back to them, some reviews and analysis. If you're logged in with Patreon, you click Analyze, it'll actually go out, find video with the most number of clicks. So I also have reviews and analysis on various 3D printers so you can get some additional information. So again, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And now let's go back to the video. Well, interestingly enough, at least on my machine, I had to cut and paste to get it to show up. It kept saying it was there, but I couldn't see it. Now all I need to do is eject this. And so we're simply going to eject the USB and then go over to the printer. So let me eject and walk over there. So I've turned the printer off. So the printer is off. And then I've inserted the USB drive over here on the I'm facing the machine the right-hand side. So I've inserted that. And then I'm just going to go over and turn the machine back on. So let's turn it on, and then we'll see what it does. So it's booting back up now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see it, and then we'll follow the steps. Now, as you can see, it's coming up. It wants to know, do I want to upgrade? I'm going to put that in quotes to the old version. I'm going to hit upgrade here. Now it's anything like when I tested this, it'll give me a couple of errors. This does take a little bit. In my case, I didn't worry about the errors. I just ignored them and then installed cleanly. Now, I am going to point out, whenever you upgrade the software or you downgrade, you are going to wind up getting rid of any of your customizations you had in your config files. And I'll link to a video above on when I edited the config files on my machine and some small changes you can make, particularly for filaments that need to preheat the printer and to speed that process up. As you can see, we're just going to let this boot, and we'll make sure it lets me do a tuning once this totally finishes. When this first boots, you do need to take the USB drive out. And then, since we're after an upgrade, I need to recalibrate. And right now, I'm not going to do auto leveling or bed tension. I just done those previously. So let's do start detection and let that roll. Now, I should be all right. And to show that everything's good, I'll go ahead and start another print as soon as this finishes calibrating. As you can see, I've finished calibrating. So now let me send a print to make sure it all works. So I've spliced my model. As you can see, I have it in preview. And let's just hit print. And then we'll send this to the K2 Plus. Then I'll switch over in a minute and just make sure it's printing. So as you can see, it's starting to print. Now, in my case, what I was seeing last night with the latest upgrade was I wouldn't even get to where things were preheating. It would crash out saying something about my steppers were out of time. I wish I captured the error so I could share that with you. But anyway, this is the steps I took to reinstall the old firmware. And this should work with any version as far as I can tell. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them below. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Have a good night.